What's going on, everyone? My name is Under the Radar, and welcome back to another draft analysis. These are the two leagues that I told I was going to be doing beforehand after NCP and UBL finished up. Since I didn't make playoffs in either one of those, I'm super excited for these two leagues because I think that the teams I drafted are a lot more my style and a lot more fun for me, and I'm really excited for that. So this one is the ICP. It has a lot of homies in it. It has 18 coaches, which is phenomenal for me because that means that my drafting style is going to be helped so much more in this. I think I didn't get sniped a single time. Don't think I got sniped a single time because I knew what I wanted to do. So going into this with 18 coaches, I want rain. That is the only thing I want. I do not want anything else. I want rain because in leagues that have so many people, also the tiering system in this was a little janky, in my opinion. A lot of stuff was overly expensive. Like, for example, I think double was like 9 points or something. It might have been 7 points or something like that, but super expensive. Like, a lot of stuff was just a little more expensive than what it should have been. So because of that, it's going to mean that a lot of coaches aren't going to have really good fat waters or fat grasses to be able to take on rain like they might be able to normally. So I really like this team that I drafted, and I wanted to try something very specific in rain, and that first thing that I knew I wanted was Zapdos. I wanted Zapdos in rain. Also, don't click off the video once I'm done on the last Pokemon because I'm going to show you guys the custom sprites that I did for all of these Pokemon, except for one. I'm still not happy with it, and I'm switching it up, but make sure you guys stick around for that because I'm really excited for it. Anyway, so Aegislash. That's my second round pick. Spoiler alert. Zapdos. I wanted it in rain because it got access to Hurricane, it gets access to Weather Ball, Thunders, Roost, U-Turn, Heavy Duty Boots, becomes absolutely phenomenal with a 125 base special attack in specs, nuke stuff. Very standard, but I haven't seen Zapdos in rain yet this generation, so I really wanted to use it because Hurricane just hits so strong. I already said what my second round pick was, but it was somehow still around in an 18-man draft in round 2, so I had to take it. Plus, Aegislash in rain is actually really good because it makes you not weak to fire. You take water neutrally already, so you can take the hits a little bit easier that way. Overall, I'm really happy with these two in conjunction with one another because Aegislash is a little weak to Earthquake and Dark Spam. Zapdos can take on Earthquake. It can take Dark Spam a little bit. It doesn't really want to, especially if I'm using it offensively, but it can take Earthquakes easily. Thing is weak to fire. In rain, it's not weak to fire. And then everything else, this thing just kind of sort of blows back. So very cool pairing here. I think that this will be a pair that I can just slap on every single week and I can make them do pretty much whatever I want. And that's really what I like in drafts like this. So these two, I pretty much picked in conjunction because I think I was pick 11 out of 18, something like that. I think I was pick 11 out of 18. And the other really cool thing is this league has so many homies in it. It's got Shay, it's got Q, it's got Jay, it's got Mario, it's like, and they're all around me in the pick aside from Jay. He was like third, but so basically I was like, hey, since you guys like the 3 picks before me, like, just don't take this, please. I love you. And like, because we're all homies, we were willing to do that for each other. But it was really cool. So the next Pokemon that I really wanted in the draft was I wanted a good wish supporting fairy because I know for a fact I'm gonna have good water bulk. I know for a fact exactly the rain sweepers I want and the water bulk that I want to go with it. So I'm going to go ahead and just snag up my Sylveon right away. Round 3 Sylveon, it might be a little bit early in some people's eyes, but in some people's eyes it's also late because I've seen this thing go round 1 in some leagues. It is absolutely phenomenal with Hyper Voice, Wish, and Protect, and it almost makes a perfect pairing with Aegislash and Zapdos. Almost. In fact, I think it does. I think Aegislash plus Sylveon is a perfect pairing. But I think that's Aegislash plus any like regular fairy. But the big thing is I really like SD Aegislash. I really like physical Aegislash. I really like banded Aegislash. I really like the physical hitting aspect of it. And I have it surrounded by 2 really strong special attackers. So I can pretty much hit both sides of the spectrum with just these 3 picks. And that's really important to me. Yeah, really, really like it. And then my next pick, also, I don't feel I need to go into too much with all these Pokemon, because like these are all Pokemon that have been around forever. I'm not drafting any new Pokemon. I'm literally just getting a bunch of like older Pokemon that work really, really well together. Anyway, the next mon that I wanted was Seismitoad. I wanted Seismitoad for a couple of reasons. One, I wanted a water absorber if I decide to bring rain, to be able to have a switch into other rain abusers or to switch in on other rain Pokemon. That was the big thing I really wanted. I did not want to just get absolutely cucked by rain. Like if I face it by my own rain, if I face another offensive water like a Keldeo or like something like that. So I wanted a water absorber, but it also has a secondary swift swim effect with decent coverage with like poison, ground, water, ice, grass. Is there anything else I'm missing? Weather ball and rain. Yeah, that's about it. Ultimately, I just wanted a really, really, really good bulky pivot. So if I decide not to bring rain, I'm bringing these 4 Pokemon and they work really, really well together. Really well bulky Pokemon that work really well together. I have really good grass resists. I have really good electric resists. Well, not resists, but like an immunity and then stuff that doesn't really care about it. So if people decide to bring like electric spam versus my rain, I'm cool with it. So first 4 picks went really, really well. The 5th pick is the only grass type that should ever be drafted on rain, and that is Celebi. Celebi, you need to draft on rain for a couple different reasons. One, it gets access to recover, which most grass types only get access to synthesis. Synthesis in rain only recovers 25%, while recover will still recover 50%. Leafeon with Wish isn't bad, but it's definitely nowhere near as good as Celebi. So I now have 2 really reliable stealth rockers. I have really good pivoting in U-turn Zapdos, Baton Pass Sylveon, U-turn Celebi. I have really good setup threats in Aegislash, as well as Celebi having Nasty Plot and Swords Dance. I have just really good utility with Celebi overall, and Celebi actually has access to some really cool moves in this generation, like Aura Sphere for steel types. It does get access to Dazzling Gleam. It also gets access to Dual Wing Beat, which is really important for certain Pokemon that you know you're gonna have to hit a little bit harder with a flying type attack and hit multiple times in order to potentially break a sash. Healing Wish is also really important because I'm able to maybe heal up one of my offensive win cons, my rain setter, anything like that. And that was another really big thing that I considered with this, because I didn't want Pelipper. I didn't want multiple flying Pokemon with Pelipper, because I also had an idea for an ice type that I wanted that was also flying type. You could probably guess what it is. So I didn't want to have 3 flying types, make me super weak to electric and then just be cucked by electric. So yeah, I really liked having Healing Wish to be able to heal up my rain setter. And then this thing just has like really good coverage. I really, really like Celebi. It is one of, if not my favorite, like grass type of all time. It's so good. So good. Love it. And it can't be toxic stalled, which is insane. So the 6th member of the team, I'm going to pause because I actually don't remember what I picked 6th. I remember what I picked 6th now. So for my 6th pick of the draft, I wanted something that was a grounded poison type. I wanted something that could make people not want to bring mono psychic setup versus me. So I needed a dark type, and that pretty much leaves me with 2. Skuntank and Drapion. I have Drapion in another league, so I'm going Skuntank here. Skuntank I wanted for a couple reasons. One, Aftermath is really important for me. Aftermath plus Static are really, really, really important abilities, because Static can paralyze, but at the same time, if they want to go for something like a Flare Blitz and I'm not bringing rain, I can throw this in. They can take Rocky Helmet Aftermath recoil, take a lot of damage, and then be perfectly in range of one of my rain setters. Or if something is going for a physical attack or with a contact move, my apologies. And they take the quarter, that's typically all of the chip that you need after Stealth Rocks for a rain sweeper to clean up. So really, really cool Pokemon here. I wish it got Hex, or I'm sorry, not Hex. I wish it got Knockoff, but it does get access to, Corrosive Gas, which is basically Knockoff. You just don't have them take any damage. And honestly, I'm okay with that, because the big thing with knockoff is being able to take away items and not really care about much else. But I do really like this Pokemon a lot. I think it's really, really cool. Access to Haze to prevent setup. I really like Skuntank, and ultimately my team is pretty bulky as of right now, but it also has really good offense in Celebi, Aegislash, Zapdos, Sylveon. Like, it has everything, can either be offensive or defensive, which is really important to me. Next up, I'm trying to think how I did this. I think I did this next. So I wanted Passimian, because Passimian to me is the perfect offensive partner for Aegislash. The only thing that really ever wants to come in on Passimian are fat fairies or fat psychics, both of which get blown back by Aegislash. It is the perfect way to bait something in to take a hit. Sometimes you might have a fat grass, but even then I can drop in my Zapdos. So ultimately I think this Pokemon is really, really good, and access to Defiant means that I'm able to get up my hazards pretty much just Stealth Rocks, because I don't think I have any other hazards on this team, and it's going to really pressure my opponents to not want to defog, but I also do have access to defog as well if I need to in Skuntank and Zapdos. But U-turn, bulk up, close combat, knockoff, gunk shot, iron head, just phenomenal coverage. I really, really like it. I think that this Pokemon is super underrated, because like this attack stat, it's kind of insane. This attack set's kind of wild, and base AD speed is actually pretty good as well for it. So I really like this Pokemon. I think it'll do a lot of work for me. And then the ice type that I ended up getting was Articuno, because I wanted Articuno for a couple different reasons. One, another defogger. Two, another U-turner. Three, I wanted Freeze Dry to be able to hit other bulky waters, to be able to break them down for my offensive rain sweepers. I wanted Hurricane, and this thing also gets access to Weather Ball. With a really, really, really good like stat distribution, it's able to also stall a bunch of teams with pressure. It's able to just do a lot, and I think that this Pokemon is able to get some really nice pivoting momentum for me on this team, because a lot of things I want to switch into Articuno, I have really good switch-ins to. Like, these two also have really good switch-ins to one another. Like, Steels, when I come in on this, I drop in Passimian, force it out, bring in, they bring in whatever they want. I drop in Aegislash, or I drop in Articuno again, and it can just become really annoying for my opponent, especially since I have U-turn, I have U-turn, I have Baton Pass, and I have U-turn. So very, very, very good Pokemon. And then the last two Pokemon are, of course, the Rain Core. I wanted Politoed because also I know it's Politoed. I like saying Politoed. Politoed because it's a little bit bulkier than Pelipper, but I think it also has more utility as an offensive Pokemon. It's not weak to Stealth Rocks, meaning that if I let this Pokemon get a little bit weaker than Pelipper, then I can actually bring this in with a Damp Rock and still get 8 turns of rain instead of like no turns of rain, because it's weak to rocks. I don't understand why this thing doesn't get Flip Turn. Can I just say that? Why doesn't it get Flip Turn? Like, that's so stupid to me. I really wish it did. But it gets really, really, really good coverage. It's very offensive. It's very, 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 very cool. And Weather Ball is also fun. But basically, Rain Setter for the main Rain Sweeper in the game, Kingdra. Now, Kingdra got blessed this generation. Okay, it got absolutely blessed. It got blessed with Hurricane. One of the biggest checks of this thing beforehand was fat grasses, because like they could take like 2 Life Orb Dracos and be fine. Or they could take like 2 Life Orb Ice Beams and be fine. They can't take two Hurricanes in the rain. They typically cannot take anything unless they're like super fat Spadef AAV. But then that just kind of opens up a lot of doors for other members of my team. But very, very, very good Pokemon. Very fast in rain. Pretty good bulk. It also has access to a bunch of physical moves, so I could be mixed if I wanted to. Like, if I wanted to, I could be I think one of the most common sets that I'm gonna end up running is like Hurricane, Hydro Pump, Outrage, Flip Turn. I really, really like that offensive capability between having mixed potential. But really, really cool. I really like this team. Let me go ahead and pause, and then I will show you guys the custom sprites that I made for this thing. Okay, so for Zapdos, I wanted it to look like Galar Zapdos. Pretty similar, just wanted it to be Galar Zapdos pretty much. I'm going to skip over Aegislash because that's the one that I'm not super happy with, but I'll tell you guys what I was going for. I was really going for Sword and Shield colors, like the mascot's Sword and Shield. I was really going for like a maroon plus cyan, or what is it, magenta and cyan colors. I was really looking for those two colors to go on its arms while having still that blade, like the metallic blade feel, and I feel as though it just doesn't work that well together, but I'm gonna keep working on this one. Next up, we got Sylveon. I want it to be just pastel colors like cotton candy, like cutesy, whatever. Next up, Seismitoad. I wanted it to look like an actual frog. I wanted it to be like a literal water ground frog, and I think it turned out perfectly. I love this one. This one is my favorite one out of all of them, honestly. Celebi is another really good one, in my opinion. I just wanted it to be like a little burnt, like very, very pale, burnt maroon orange color. Not maroon, but like a, I don't even know what color this is. It's like a brown orangish. I love it. I was just playing around with colors on Photoshop, and then it came out to this. So I really, really like the way this one turned out. Next up, I wanted Skuntank to look like a flame. I wanted it to literally look like it was about to explode because of how poisonous it was and all of the gas that was surrounding it and things of that nature, since it does get access to things like flamethrower and fire blast. Pretty self-explanatory. I wanted this to look like Galarian Articuno. I wanted it to be very similar to those colors, and I think it turned out pretty well. I wanted this to look like Donkey Kong, or have like Donkey Kong's color scheme, which I really like. I think it turned out pretty well. I wanted Politoed to just be very, very like turquoise and aquamarine and very like rain, water life feel to it. So in like drizzling, like in battle, this one looks a lot better than it does just in like the custom sprite, but looks really, really good. I love it a lot. And then for Kingdra, I wanted it to be like Neptune's trident, so I made it gold, and then I made its belly like the blue, like the ocean. So I wanted it to be like I wanted it to be the tool of the gods, is how I was kind of envisioning it, because realistically, if you think about it, like I want this to be the tool of the gods of the team. I want this to be what does the damage of the team, to carry the gods, and like the gods being these three, like that's kind of how I'm looking at it. Or like these four, I guess, with Celebi, like the legendaries and Aegislash. But those are the Pokemon that I have for the ICP. This one was a lot faster of a draft analysis than the EWT, because this one was only 10 months and I didn't get sniped at all, so I didn't really have to change anything. But yeah, with that, guys, I'm gonna go ahead and get on out of here. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.